Welcome to your Get That Nugget for GCSE English Language. Today we'll be concentrating on giving you a framework to answer Paper 2 Question 4, the comparison question. This session is to complement your lessons with your teachers and not to replace them in any way. To start, we're going to have a look at the aims of question 4. So in this question, we are being asked to look at the ideas and perspectives of both sources and compare these, and then we should be able to analyse the writer's use of methods to convey their ideas. Essentially, people get really confused between this question and question 2. They are different. A lot of people think that they're quite similar, and in some ways they are, but this comparison is about attitudes and opinions. This is about the writer and what the writer is doing and how they're feeling or thinking or experiencing or imagining, and it's about the methods that they choose to show those thoughts or feelings. So for example, if a writer is really angry about something, what methods are they using to show that anger? And then you compare that to the other source where the writer might be quite happy and what methods they are using to show that. With this question, I call it the what, how, why question, and I'll go more into that in a second. For the purposes of this nugget, we've been using the Discoveries paper, and this is the question for this paper. So we are always asked to compare, and obviously we're going to be using both sources for that, and we have to look at the different attitudes to the discovery that they describe. So we already know that we are looking at the different attitudes from source A and source B about their discovery. We aren't just talking about what their attitude is, we're also going to look at the methods they use to show that. And this is why I'm saying this is the what, how, why question. If you remember it's the what, how, why question, it should make it a lot easier to prep for and to write the answer for. Now the what is the attitudes or the opinion of the writer. So what they believe, what they feel, what they think, what they're experiencing, what they're imagining. The how, this is the methods. Obviously we use quotations as well, but these are the methods they are using. How are they showing us their attitude? How are they showing us how they feel? And then the why, this is the effects. And we link these back to the attitude. For example, someone who's really angry, a writer that's really angry about something or really frustrated about something, may use quite a lot of short sentences, or they may use quite a lot of descriptive words to describe something because they're so passionate about it. Someone who's really excited might use lots of commas and lots of listing because they're really excited about what they're seeing or what they're experiencing. People use different methods to get their attitude and opinion across. They do it without even realising it. When you have an argument with someone, you might raise your voice, you might use a couple of words in there, you might use a couple of short sentences to show that you're angry. When you're really excited and happy, you might be more imaginative with your vocabulary, or you're going to be using lots of rhetorical questions because you're excited. Writers use different methods to convey different opinions, and that's what we are comparing here. This is our what, how, why question. So the first thing we have done is we've understood what we're looking for. So in the exam, you look at the question and you look at what your focus is. So our focus for the purpose of this question is the discovery they describe. What you then need to do is you need to go back to the sources. So you start with source A and you start to highlight anything you can find that would link to that question. So we know we're looking at the discoveries and their attitudes towards it. So we need to highlight anything to do with that. So miserable creatures. Difficult to accept they are fellow human beings, inhabitants of the same world. Again, I'm not going to read all of this because we don't have time to do that on this nugget, and you are able to read it yourself anyway. I just want to show you the skill and the approach that I would take. And there's a cupping egg, carcass of rotting well. Just going to leave at that for a second. So I've managed to pick a few things out there. It's not enough just to highlight something, because by the time I've then done source B, I probably would have forgotten why I've highlighted these things. So as soon as you highlight one thing, you should then label it with the attitude. So the idea that he calls them miserable creatures shows that he is disgusted. His attitude is that he is disgusted at what he sees. In terms of methods, it might not always be something as simple as a simile or a metaphor or a rhetorical question. But what we have got is the idea that he calls them a creature. What we have got is that he calls them miserable. So we've got an adjective and a noun there. Similarly down here, so difficult to accept they are fellow human beings. The word difficult, the word accept, shows that he cannot quite believe it. He's almost in disbelief at what he sees. He can't accept it. So I have got, not only have I highlighted a quotation that I can use later, I have also got the attitude of the writer, and then I've also got some methods. What I'm missing is the effect. The idea that he is disgusted, the idea that he uses miserable creatures, shows that it's almost unexpected. A bit like disbelief down here, it's unexpected what he sees. He's completely disgusted by it. He's almost disappointed as well. Like he can't believe that that's what he's seeing. They're not real people. And he's almost quite angry about that. He's quite upset. That's my effects. I can see that that's how he feels about it. I can see that that's how he feels towards these things that he's seeing, these discoveries. Once you've done that with source A, you then do the same process with source B. So remember, you read, you highlight. As you highlight, you then want definitely the attitude and then try to do the method. Try and make a few bullet points about the effects as well. This is probably going to take you about 20 minutes, this question, and I would recommend you use at least 10 to plan the answer. You have got 2 sources to go through, and the more planning you do, the more notes you make, the better your answer is going to be, and you're not spending time later wondering what to write. It's all done for you already. So we've already got, even on that first example, I've already managed to find a what, the attitude. I've managed to say the method from the how, and the effects from the why. So I've already what, how, why'd the first thing. Once I've done that for all of the things on that text, I would then do the same process for source B, exactly the same. Again, we're going to highlight. It makes it nice and clear for what you're looking for. I'm just going to use one this time. What have we got here? So there's a couple of rhetorical questions up here. And then we had lots and lots of listing here. So we do a couple of them. Again, because we've highlighted it, we need to put why. So this attitude, the idea that he uses rhetorical questions is quite similar in some ways to source A. He is quite surprised at what he's seen, but it's actually in quite a positive way. He's quite excitable. We've also said it's rhetorical questions. So we have got our what. Obviously, you wouldn't need to write what, how, why on the sheet. This is just to show you. This is our what. This is our how. Now we just need our why. Why is someone using rhetorical questions to show excitement? Well, the idea is that he can't wait. He's eager to see more of his discoveries. So this is our why. And because my notes mean that I've covered the what, how, why of this question, that would then turn into one paragraph. And you do the same process throughout everything else that you find, that you highlight. You find the what, so what attitude is shown. You show the how, so what technique has been used. And then the why, the effects of what's been used and how that then links back to the method, how that links back to the attitude. So what, how, why, everything you find. This is about, remember, their attitude and what they use to show that. The more of this you can do, as I said, the better your response will be because all your planning is done. Once you have done that for all of that text, you're going to need to decide what you're going to use next. So it might be that you found 5 or 6 things from each extract. You do not need that many things. Your final step is you're going to find your golden 3. This is a common theme now. You're probably used to this from the language questions, but you only really need 3 comparisons. You may only have time for 2, and that's fine as well. We can build up to 3, but 3 would be the ideal. Take your 3 that you've got the most to write about, and then you can turn that into your paragraphs later. But that's the process you need to do. You reread the question, make sure you know what the technique, what you're looking for, what the question focus is. Then you go to the source, you highlight anything to do with the question that reveals an attitude, and then you do that 3 steps. Your what, how, why. What's the attitude? How have they shown that? Why have they done that? Why is that effective? What does it show us? Okay, what, how, why. Then finally, once you've done that for both sources, you're going to decide which 3 things you are going to write about, which 3 comparisons you are going to write about. I'm going to leave you with a question, and this is the paper that's available for you to download. Remember the process. First thing, read the question, find what you are looking for. What is your focus? Next step, as you read through source A, you're going to highlight and annotate the what, how, why for everything you find. Attitude, method, effects. What, how, why. Then you're going to do the same for source B. And then you find your golden 3. Read the question, read the extract, highlight, consider the what, how, why, and then pick your 3 that you're going to turn into a response. And I will show you that in the next nugget. Take this question, download the extracts, plan it, and show your teacher. I'm sure they'll be really happy to give you some feedback for that.